Hello, everyone. Dr. Eames here. This time I'd like to talk to you about strategic alliances. Now, strategic alliances are something we do domestically all the time amongst companies, but they also are a form of international business, and they have a couple different advantages, being that they're an effective way for you to get into another market, particularly a foreign market. If you can build a partnership with another company and so forth, it's a good way for you to build up that secondary market. Um, and I've got some examples here and so forth to talk to you about um, in these sorts of things. First of all, you've got to find the right company to partner with. Not just any company will do. Um, you have to make sure that you have a common sort of set of beliefs and values, and that your vision and missions, or at least it's similar, where they can be complementary. Um, if the corporate cultures and the management styles of the two companies don't mesh, then likely you're not going to have much of a good shot at having a strong sort of strategic alliance. And here's some examples, starting with this one. We've got Starbucks, of course, over here, and Barnes and Noble. And it does seem to be a natural sort of partnership where you're in a bookstore, they've provided places for you to look at books and sit down and make it a relaxing atmosphere. And what better company to partner with than Starbucks, of course, for that sort of thing. Um, and that's one thing that I'm sure that Barnes and Noble and Starbucks didn't just go into this without really investigating whether it was going to work, and they would be able to maybe do it on a larger scale than just a few stores, but maybe make it a bigger thing where everywhere that they could partner. And then, of course, Barnes and Noble has a strategic relationship. You can see right here, they're located in Texas A&M. So this is actually, we would have to say, a three-way strategic alliance, and it benefits all partners. Here's one of the oldest partnerships around that we can say are one of the most successful strategic alliances of all time, and this is Hewlett Packard and Disney. And they have one of the most long-standing alliances that extends way back over decades, all the way to the very first Disneyland park. Um, and even when their very first uses of technology in Disney's parks, they wanted virtual attractions of all types. And one of the earliest ones, of course, was Mission Space. And the Disney Imaginers and conceptual builders all came up with ideas, and they worked with the Hewlett Packard engineers and Hewlett Packard's expertise in the IT world and so forth, to be able to create the things that they need. And it became some of the one of the biggest draws of their parks today is their use of this advanced technology. Well, we have this partnership between Hewlett Packard and Disney, which continues today. And you can see some examples here in the pictures. Hewlett Packard is involved in all of those, along with Disney, who comes up with the concepts. Here's a good table of some examples of strategic alliances that worked because they were a combination of what's really important, complementary strengths and values. So something is brought to the table by each of the players. So if we look at it across the top, here on the upper left, we've got PepsiCo, and then we've got Lipton. They partner together. PepsiCo brings marketing clout for canned beverages. Lipton is recognized for its tea brands and all its franchising efforts. Jointly, they can sell some canned iced tea beverages and other things that they can create that seem to be common products. Therefore, they can both make more money, they expand their market share, and so forth. Here we have the example of KFC. Now, this one's a little bit different, but this partnership was established for a very specific reason, so that KFC could end up getting a chain in Japan. So this is a real sort of unique situation. KFC had established brand, they had the store format, the very recognizable operations and so forth. But in Japan, there are particular laws about foreigners owning land and so forth. And Mitsubishi is very big into actually real estate is one of the other things that they do besides make electronics. And they are very high as consultants for site selection in Japan. So it was a natural partnership once you really get into the details. And the end result was that KFC was able to establish a chain in Japan for the first time with this strategic alliance. Each partner brought some complementary strengths to the table. Here's another one, Siemens and Corning. Now, Siemens is a telecommunications company. They have worldwide marketing and distribution. They make cables. They make wiring of all sorts and component parts. If we put that together with what Corning brings with their technological strength, their strength in the fiber industry and making glass products, and their expertise in heat and so forth, together, the joint objective, they're going to establish a fiber optic cable business. And so you get the both qualities, the best qualities of both companies coming together for a successful business venture. Down here, again, we see that Hewlett Packard is one of the players, and they're partnering with Ericsson. So these are actually two complementary companies, probably from the beginning, because they're both in technology. Ericsson making telephones and telecommunication devices. They have telecommunication networks and expertise and so forth. And certainly we know about Hewlett Packard and their expertise in computers and software and electronics of all sorts. And they have access to creation of a lot of devices. So they partner together and they create a marketing network for management systems and so forth. So this is the way that strategic alliances work and so forth. Now, one particular specific type of strategic alliance is a joint venture. And the biggest difference here, although it is still a strategic alliance, two or more companies come together. Usually it's two or two groups of investors or something, and they establish a third independent company whose operations benefit both. So here's a good example I'll work through for you, an ambulatory surgery clinic. The two partners in this are Regent Surgical Health and a group of 23 physician partners. And for background, Regent has done this 23 previous times. They have a proven track record of partnering in different ways to create these joint ventures of hospitals and physicians to have successful centers for healthcare treatment. And so they become a specialist in developing models of how to do it and so forth. And they understand what it takes to develop those complementary strengths that were the source of the last examples I talked about. There are a lot of complementary strengths between hospitals and surgeons, obviously. They're obviously both facing the same sorts of challenges with competition and the economy and healthcare regulations and all of that. And so by working together, they can move forward. And here's the result. The result of that particular partnership was the Swedish Covenant Ambulatory Surgery Center, and you can see a picture of it here. Okay, folks, that's all I wanted to talk about this time. I'll talk to you again soon.